8 factors that determine police radar reliability when determining speeding. I'm Tulsa attorney James Worth, and we've got those 8 factors for you. So if somebody has been clocked by an officer with radar saying that you're speeding, is that information from the radar equipment accurate? What sort of things can affect that? And we've got 8 different ones for you. 1, misidentifying the vehicle or object the radar is actually tracking. So you could be pointing that radar device, but you may think that it is hitting and reflecting off of one thing, where it's hitting and reflecting off another thing, another vehicle. So that's one thing the officer could get wrong, misidentifying the vehicle. 2, measuring from a moving vehicle without properly accounting for the patrol vehicle speed. So if you've got that radar equipment and you're stopped on the side of the road, then the difference in speed between where you are stationary and the vehicle, the Doppler effect there, that's going to have a certain frequency change, whereas if your vehicle is moving, that has to be affected as well. So if you're not properly accounting for the movement of your own patrol vehicle when looking at the differences in speed between your vehicle and the other one, analyzing the Doppler radar, that's going to be a problem. However, modern radar equipment, normally they know what's going on, and they have checks for that where they're looking at the radar shooting simultaneously, forward, backwards, perhaps at a stationary object down, in order to determine what the appropriate speed is. But that is one thing that you can look into if you're cross-examining an officer, is how do they determine that? How do they factor that in? Because that is a factor that could make a difference. 3, we're talking about weather. If there's heavy rain or fog, anything that can obstruct those signals, change the way that they reflect, then that could make a difference here, and you'd want to look into those conditions. 4, obstructions. If there's large buildings around, other large vehicles, trees that could be affecting the way that the radar goes to and from that radar gun. 5, cosine angle errors. Essentially, if you have that radar going straight on and then coming back, then that's going to have one result. If you're hitting it at an angle, then it's going to reflect differently, and that can change the way that it affects speed. So it's going to be the angle that it's hitting and coming back, and that can make a fairly significant difference. However, when that is a problem, it would actually result in the radar showing a lower speed than in actuality, so it's not generally helpful defense in speeding ticket cases. 6, radar frequency interference. That could be CB radios, cell phones, other radars in the area. If those things are applicable, it could affect the way that it receives that. If it's receiving signals from something else that it misinterprets from being back from the gun, there could be more on that. 7, internal calibration mechanisms, worn out components, outdated software. These are essentially issues with the radar unit itself. Has it been properly updated? Is it in good condition? Are all of its parts working appropriately? Is it calibrating internally properly? If there's a problem with the radar unit itself, then that obviously can affect the results. 8, talk about external tuning. A lot of times officers use a tuning fork that is specially designed to resonate a certain frequency that is used with the radar that should indicate a particular speed. If it does, then it knows that it's calibrated properly. However, do we know that that tuning fork is in good condition? Has it been dropped and bent that could change its frequency? That's another thing that you could look into. So those are the 8 factors that could affect police radar reliability. If you're dealing with a speeding ticket, have questions on how to fight that, you're probably going to want to talk to an attorney privately and confidentially about that. To schedule an appointment with an attorney at my office, you can go online to makelawEasy.com.